Hey, this is Christian Buckley with CollabTalk.
Hey, this is Michal Sobotkiewicz with KanBo.
We're talking today about the topic of the increase in the real-time collaboration activities that are happening. It's the power of that real-time interaction. And it's something that I think has evolved dramatically, certainly within the knowledge management collaboration sector. I mean, having been involved with social technology for a number of years, I can even say now more than 2 decades of working in social technology, the mid-90s when I started getting into it, that the value of these real-time collaborative activities is definitely at an all-time high. So it's no longer about going and collaborating around a document so much as it is a series of data and then having conversations that are being captured via instant messaging in live meetings and webinars and recordings like this. But even the more transactional activities in completing a task. And I know that's something, Michael, with KanBo, I mean, where it's very involved around tasks and cards and around specific boards that, sometimes it's that asynchronous activities where I'm creating like, hey, this needs to be done, assigning people to it and push it off and update that into a card. And then they come back and do it another time, especially with different time zones. And other times where you and I need to interact in real time, where we may jump into a web meeting and record that conversation as an asset and save that down into SharePoint to be stored as part of that activity. What is the value in in KanBo's perspective of that real time activity and interaction?
Okay, so great that you are bringing up this topic, Chris, because at the beginning when we started with KanBo, we recognized, or we did this all real time thing as a it was kind of unique back then. I mean, it was 6 years ago. And where when something changes, you needed to update the page to see the result. So that was normal, and we had this real time thing that whenever something was moved or something wrote something, that you saw it immediately on the screen without refreshing.
Yeah, so I could, if I'm like following an activity, I know when somebody that I've assigned something to has gone in and made an update, has changed something or asked another question. I get that notification back right away if I need to like stay on top of what's happening with these tasks that are assigned.
Yes, that was basically the next stage where because we were basically using KanBo every day as we were developing it, and I, of course, as we are not financed by any investor on any fund, we also needed to to do projects on the other half of the time, which was good because then we were like in the business and we saw what's happening, and then we realized like when I write something into a card and I am really expecting an answer, then I was looking for, has the person already been in the card and has the person seen what I've wrote, and then we came up with this feature where you can basically see if someone was already and saw the comment, so that he is now informed. And this was like a hunger for this information, like has he already seen it? And this was we could see that immediately in the card. And then as we continued with this real-time story, then basically when you work with 2 people inside of a card, you see the comments like you were in the chat window. And then when tasks are getting completed, and also when people attach documents or change versions of the documents, and you are basically working on the same stuff but maybe on a different corner of the card, which can be a bigger project or a bigger task, then you see that this thing is alive. And then in the last few months, we introduced this new feature where you get an indicator that someone else is in the card in this very time when you are there, which is another level of real time. And
the presence awareness, which is really powerful too, because I mean, that's a great point. That you're not just out there responding to somebody. That I can actually, and I'll often do this, and I'll be responding to somebody and see via the Skype or inside Office 365. Hey, they're live, they're on there, and rather than send another email or respond in a task, and I'll double click and instant message the person like, hey, can you give me an answer on this right now while I've got you live? And to some degree, you can't really hide from those presence awareness. If you are at least in the last 5 minutes, they were live on their machine, and you can see that and go and interact with them, which is, again, very, very powerful.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, this is definitely. I mean, we have been working remotely for forever now. I mean, it's so long. So this is like normal. But imagine, Chris, that not only you could see if someone is now online or present or at the computer, but imagine you would see if he is actually right now in the topic where you are. So it's not like he's online, but he's doing something else. No, he's online and he's basically looking and working at the same context that you are at this very time. So at this level, I don't know if it's true, but to me and to my team, it's true. Like, this is more efficient than being in the same building, in the same office, in the same room, because it is a very good balance between working together on those things where you need to communicate and collaborate, but still having this frontier, this barrier, this border saying, now I need to go to a tunnel and solve a real problem. So that I'm in the car, I'm here, but still I need some time for me, because now I am in my deep work phase, and this is, if I am in the room, the people will continue on disturbing me and stealing my time. Through this, I am seeing in real time in my context what's happening, but still I can hide away in order to do something without being disturbed. So this is something that is not possible, I believe, when you work in a physical office and people are around you. This is my conclusion to that. And I don't know which will be the next level of making the visibility, what you do inside of a card, better. So then we can even take that one higher. I have an idea, but that's maybe a topic for another discussion.
Well, I think it's certainly, when you're, one of the issues, and this is maybe one example of where understanding what people are actually doing. I know that there's, when some of the like the Office 365, My Analytics first came out, and there were some other tools going back a few years that would actually show the level of activity of people in a web meeting, for example. And you can get those kinds of analytics whether you're using Skype or the formerly, back to the live meeting days, or any of the, the webinar tools, where it actually shows like that person may have been on the call for the entire hour, but they were only paying attention for 20 minutes of it, and what were they doing, and you can even get some analysis of where their mind was wandering. They were doing email, they had other applications, they weren't really kind of present there. And so that's where having this kind of depth of insight into how people are interacting in real time, to let you know, hey, they're actually in working on these tasks that they've been assigned to within these cards. I can go and interact with them right there live in real time. It could be, very, very powerful, especially if it's something, not that you're going to be watching and hovering over activity for these, for people over every card.
It's not for control, Chris. No. It's not for control. It's for your convenience. And this convenience is so powerful that customers basically stop measuring whether the people are using and how often they are using, because the convenience is such a high level that basically everybody does it. And it's not about measuring it. It's about, let's do the stuff faster and don't waste energy on looking for information and stuff like that. So basically this is what is happening when you using KanBo every day.
You know, and this is, I mean, it's part of the trend too. I know that you guys are thinking about this with KanBo, and it's something that, you know, the improving those real-time interactions is something that is something that Microsoft is expanding on. I mean, you have, you know, the Windows 10 Ink and the expanded kind of whiteboarding capability is all like it's all about, you know, more and more these tools where real-time we can collaborate on the same things. I can share my desktop. We can mark it up and highlight things in real time, save that down. Of course, those same assets, you know, they're saved to SharePoint. I can, you know, utilize them, add them into a card in KanBo, and it could be, you know, part of that project effort as well. But it all comes down to, you know, making sure that there is tight collaboration with, or in and around those tasks, so that we have the same view of what we're talking about, and, you know, are addressing the same, you know, information, and are able to solve those problems there in real time as well as offline, you know, asynchronously. So it's definitely the trend. It's where we're going, more personalized, more collaborative solutions that are out there. And so it's great to see these kinds of features inside of KanBo and expanding on that trend as well.
Yeah, sure. That is our. I mean, this is like our air. This real time, and so sometimes it takes longer to develop some new features because they always have to send what's changing. So the UI can react to that, and depending on which level you are. So if you are on the board, you will probably see, you know, only the activity stream of a board going up, or maybe things are moving on the card, or something like that. Or maybe a line is just moving, saying like, oh, how much progress was done. And even if you are even higher, if you're on the board on the KanBo home, when you only see the boards, then you will only see, you know, numbers going up of activities of a board. So basically, depending on which level you are watching, you will see some kind of interaction. And the deeper you go, you can even meet someone in the card that is actually working there. It's like in the physical office, you would not meet someone in the room. You would meet someone in a document, or in the process of creating something, which is kind of funny, and reminds me of the movie Deception with Demi Moore and Michael Douglas, when they first show this video, or, you know, ghost or system where you could actually go through files and meet someone else in the system, like an Avatar. I don't know if you remember this movie, but this movie,
I do. Yep, I do.
This movie made a great impression on me, and I was never. And now I'm working and building a system like that, which is obviously not science fiction. It's today. But you actually, if you had a VR glasses, probably, then we would meet in the card, doing something in the card. So yeah.
I would say that, just to clarify too, for people watching, is that KanBo is not endorsed by either Demi Moore or Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, hey, I appreciate your time. It's an interesting topic. I'm, you know, excited to see the next phase of development of within KanBo that's looking at this level of depth around real-time interaction. So appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Chris. Bye-bye.